we really have to teach the American people how this relationship came to be so close, such that our national interest is defined as the Israeli national interest. How does that happen? It is not by happenstance. It happens because people of like minds, shared values get together and understand, they study the American body politic. They understand the strengths and the weaknesses of our system, which is quite open. And then, of course, they work to ensure that their values become policy. And so if that means that every candidate has to pass through a sieve of how one feels on the Israeli issue, then so be it. That's what happens. And indeed, that is what exactly happens. So that when I first ran in 1992, now, mind you, I studied international relations as an undergraduate and as a graduate student. And so I had some clear ideas about the U.S. role in the world, fact versus myth. And I wanted to place my imprint on U.S. international conduct. So I asked to serve on the House International Relations Committee, but that was after I got elected. Before I got elected, I received the facts. And the facts was from the American Israel Public Affairs Committee. And it said that I needed to sign the pledge, which was going to be my pledge to the state of Israel. Now that's what every member of Congress is asked to do. Now that's what every member of Congress is asked to do.
Are you sure it isn't time for a colorful metaphor?
You sign a pledge, or you write a paragraph, and you state, these are the things that I will support once I am elected to Congress. Now, what were those things that were on that pledge? Jerusalem as the capital city. Continued economic and military assistance to the state of Israel at whatever those current rates were. The military superiority of Israel. Those are the three that I remember. There were 5 to 7 items on the pledge. What I learned is that the politics of Washington, D.C., they're all quite interrelated. And if you don't sign the pledge, you don't get a darn thing. And so I did what all candidates in Congress do. I went to Washington. I made my ceremonial trek to Washington. And I placed myself before the various political action committees that are there. And I asked for their support and their help. And they were all quite polite. But when I walked out of there, I walked out empty-handed. So I was able to win my primary in 1992, but I only had $25,000. And $20,000 of it was spent in a media buy. I had no money. What I did have was the people. And at that time, while the press was definitely against me, they basically took my candidacy as a joke. And so on election night, I didn't have any press in my campaign headquarters because they were all with the, candidates had been endorsed by the governor and the Speaker of the House, but nobody thought I was going to win, so it wasn't a problem. And then after I made it through the election and went to Washington, that's when things began to get very interesting. I was at some points disappointed by what I saw because it seemed that in the congressional hearings, people who were at each other just like this, then walked out arm in arm because it was just, it was just what you did while you were at the congressional hearing, but afterwards you walked out as friends. But for me, it was always quite different. I was asked to do things, I was asked to sign things, and I always reserved my right to represent my constituents and to also be reflective of my conscience. That wasn't good enough. And as you all are very well aware, in 2002, after a series of questions that I asked about September 11, some inconvenient questions, the Republicans and Democrats and the American Israel Public Affairs Committee all found common interest in making sure that I did not return to Washington, D.C. And so I didn't. It was just that simple. The way Washington operates is that particular lobby, any lobby, amasses, gathers its strength, and then exerts it at a point of weakness where they think that they can have the most effect. Representative Nina Lloyd of New York said that every vote has its consequence. And so, of course, no one felt sorry for me because I should have known that every vote has its consequence. But if you go online to the congressional website and you put in laying out the facts, you will hear the floor statement of Gus Savage, who was a member of Congress from Chicago, who was also targeted. But what he described was the methodology that was used to oust him. A candidate was selected to run in the Democratic primary against him. And then all of a sudden, money came from all over the country against him. He was the incumbent for the challenger. Now, there's two statements, floor statements, that Gus Savage makes. And in one of them, he talks about organizations like the New Jersey Garden Club, which the New Jersey Garden Club maxed out. That is, they gave the maximum amount of money possible to Gus Savage's opponent. And Gus was saying, what in the world does the New Jersey Garden Club have to do with Chicago, Illinois politics? Well, what it was that the New Jersey Garden Club was, led by people who were active with the American Israel Public Affairs Committee. And so it goes from organization to organization to organization to organization. And through this very skillful organization of organizations or network of organizations, then all of a sudden one candidate can find that they've got over $1 million amassed against them. And candidates like me, I've never in my entire life. Well, one time I raised over $1 million, and that was as a result of a court case and an effort to dismantle the district. And the case went all the way up to the Supreme Court. And the situation that I was in gained national attention, and so I was able to get contributions from all over the country, and I was able to raise over $1 million, $1.6 million in that race, and I was able to prevail. But even then, I was outspent, and I was outspent in 2002. I was outspent in 2006 when I was the only Democratic member of Congress to lose in 2006. Why? Because I was a sure vote against funding the war.